the Writer's Voice podcast, and my guest today is Sarahlyn Bruck. How are you, Sarahlyn?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on, Linda.
Oh, sure. Love to have you. Now, you have a book that was released in March, right?
Yes.
Daytime drama.
Daytime
and is that
drama.
What we see there?
It's right here. Yes,
right there.
Yes.
Okay, tell us just a little bit about that before we go on and talk about being bicoastal and working two occupations and being a mother and a writer.
Sure. Daytime drama is about a soap opera actress named Callie Hart, who has been on the same soap opera her whole life, basically, since she was a teenager. She is now in her early 40s, and she has just found out that her soap opera has been canceled. And to make things more complicated, she's being blackmailed by her ex. Her current boyfriend really wants to ramp up their relationship. She's living with her mother and her tween son. So life is becoming pretty complicated for her and mirroring in a lot of ways the soap opera that she just got fired from.
That's interesting. And a lot of what you want to talk about today is the mirroring, because I call you bicoastal. You say you're not really bicoastal, but I think in some ways you probably are. So why don't you talk about your version of being bicoastal?
I grew up in California, and we are so California that my parents were born and raised in California. So they grew up, when I was in my 20s, I moved to Chicago. And then in 2007, my husband and I moved to Philadelphia. And we love it here. We just love it. But I have noticed that there are lots of different aspects of living on the East Coast versus the West Coast that I really appreciate. We talked a little bit about how, life or the way people talk on the East Coast is faster. And I definitely feel, as a writer, it's not a bad feeling to be a bit of an outsider, to be able to observe life in a different way than someone who maybe grew up here.
Okay.
So
how do you think you are as a writer? Do you think you're better equipped maybe to characterize or maybe to be observant with your characters because you have the two different takes, the West Coast, having grown up there, and then the observations that you have from being on the East Coast? Do you think that makes you a better writer when it comes to characterizing or observing?
That's a really good question. I think it's helped in a lot of ways, like I said, as an observer, but also my husband is from the New York, New Jersey area. And he would always talk about the differences he felt as an East Coast person on the West Coast and the Midwest and the West Coast. And so I sort of knew going in, actually, that this might be something I could use in my writing, and to remember that feeling of feeling like a bit of an outsider.
Well, thanks so much for chatting with me today. I really appreciate it. So folks can find your book, Daytime Drama, Barnes and Noble and Amazon, all over the place, right?
Yeah, everywhere.
And they can find you online at your website at sarahlynbruck.com.
Yes.
And I hope to see you again. Come back and visit.
Thank you, Linda.
All righty. Bye-bye.